Well, hello. It seems that events completely overtake us, and all my planning for recording in some systemic way are absolutely useless because obviously something happens every day and it requires a degree of input which many people expect from me. So I decided to kind of forego my planning for recording in a manner which I was planning, and I want to address a couple of issues. First, of course, the issue of the Orthodox, and not like Russian Orthodox or Eastern Orthodox Church, but orthodoxy, academic and any other orthodoxy, when people stick to the set of rules and views, which, even despite the fact being debunked, and sometimes in the most spectacular manner, they still continue to profess them, and that thus remain the orthodox of any kind of points of view which are wrong most of the time. And the situation with the basically gas and oil, which we all observe, and coal, which we all observe today, happening all around the world, certainly is one of those things which nobody could have predicted, exactly. But let me put it this way. About 5 years ago, we were having a party at our house, and we had many friends, American and Russian, and people were talking about that, yeah, situation is pretty bad. But, we have at least 20 years, before we can put our things in order. And then, yeah, probably United States and the Western world will depart. And I kind of smiled at that and said that, no, we don't have that much time. I'm not definitely any kind of Cassandra of Oracle, but I certainly knew that situation was going pretty bad. And I started writing my first book, which already basically described the situation and the circumstances when the whole thing will collapse. And I concentrated mostly on the issues of military. But here it is, and we cannot predict the exact date, when things, begin to happen. And then when we can say, oh, that is it, that's the thing, that's what we were expecting. But I can tell you with huge degree of confidence that we are in it right now. It is happening. In famous, obviously, Highlander movies, they were calling this quickening. And yeah, we live in the quickening, and the process of the actual collapse, when you can literally point out to the very specific signs of this collapse, is upon us. And anybody who looked at Western Europe, or even China with its northeastern provinces, which experience now a severe electricity shortage and any kind of energy shortage, and 100 million people have those rolling, what you call it, shutoffs of the electricity and heat. So it's upon us. It's here, it is now, and from this point of time, things will begin to happen with the increasing speed. They will accelerate, and with it, the further geopolitical realignment will continue. And as anybody can recall, a recent gas contract between Hungary and Russia, this is a huge indicator because Russia did indeed decide to bypass Ukraine. And the Ukraine, not the Ukraine, or is it known as the country for 404, was kind of this spear in Russia's side by the West, trying to convince Russia to behave. Russians did what they always do. They adapted. And now, basically, Hungary receives its gas through Turk Stream, and through Balkans and totally independently from Ukraine. That dramatically deflates Ukraine's utility for the West, and considering the fact what was going on with Ukraine for the last few years, it's really a toxic asset for West now, and Russia doesn't want it either. So who is going to be paying for this country? Nobody knows. Russians don't care. And as long as Ukraine remains more or less controllable in terms of not starting any kind of war or terrorist activity, which is, by the way, it is doing it, but on a very limited scale, not yet, which does not yet warrant massive Russian interference, Ukraine basically becomes useless. And today the first line or first pipe of the Nord Stream 2 is being technically filled. Well, it's called technical filling or whatever, something which is not commercial yet, with the gas to provide appropriate pressure and temperature and things of this nature. So, and it immediately affected the pricing, through the roof pricing. It's astronomical on the European market for the gas. So basically everything becomes pretty clear. Russia is sitting pretty in the middle of the Eurasian mass, and nobody laughs anymore at what once Vladimir Putin, basically served by Sechin, the main guy, the big honcho of Russian energy resources, stated a few years ago that Russia is the energy superpower. Well, she is, and that's just simple as that. And nothing could be done about it because obviously the military capable basically to handle any kind of threats, any combination of threats is there. And anybody who thinks that being energy superpower is something backward and not iPhone-ish, they obviously have to check their facts, because most modern extraction and processing is as high-end and high-tech as it can be, and requires enormous number of the very advanced technologies, not to mention the fact that the biggest and the most powerful nuclear energy company in the world, Rosatom, is one of the major engines behind Russia's advancements in industries such as aerospace, composite materials, and you just electronics, computers, and you just name it. So, and we already can see in Russia the formation of those gigantic industrial conglomerates, not unlike it was in Japan, but obviously Russians are not limited by their energy supply. And for those people who read my blog, you might remember, obviously, the table I compiled a few days ago. And in the most crucial column of energy, you will see that there is only two countries really, well, Canada too, but Canada is not as large. But there are only two countries in the world which are energy independent or near independent and can afford to basically play geopolitical games. Well, guess what? It's not China, it's Russia and the United States. And I am obviously, how to put it politely, I definitely do not appreciate what American political class does to the country. But there is no denial that United States has a chance in terms of surviving in the new economy if it plays its, obviously, cards right. Well, that's the problem. I don't think so they know how to play those cards right. But United States is energy independent in the sense that it will not suffer the fate which Western Europe is going through right now and suffering, and China. China obviously has Russia backing her up, and Russians working hard in terms of reorienting Russia's energy resources to the east, away from the Western Europe, which I think so Russia already gave up on Western Europe, and In this case, China is not a lost cause, but obviously, China is already paying the price for basically a lack of redundancy for its energy, and even playing with the toying with this green energy idea, which is completely bonkers. And there will be no transition to green in the nearest 10 years. I doubt it will be a transition to in the nearest 20 or 30 years, but obviously it's difficult to explain to a political class in Europe, which is primarily constituted or staffed with people with the humanities education who do not understand the issues of basic physics, thermodynamics, and things of this nature. They know how to handle elections, and they know how to come up with the political doctrines, but obviously they are not good engineers. And, well, they cannot be good engineers or scientists. But in the end, what we see today is what basically have been predicted a long time ago. Russia is distributing her energy, which is absolutely needed throughout the Eurasian landmass, and that practically removes the United States, if not to the margins, but way away from the pivotal role in geopolitics. And we saw it with this AUKUS and the submarine issue. The United States is trying to consolidate what it can right now. So we are at the threshold of, not at the threshold, we're already within this process, but the threshold of such a massive change, not only in geopolitical balance, but in the mode of thinking, that it is difficult to predict at this stage how it will proceed further. There will be many inflection points, and that is what I wanted to talk about today. Not to mention the fact that basically Russia already confirmed and the test flights of the 3M-22 hypersonic Zircon anti-shipping and land attack missiles have been successful. The first Yasin-class submarine already launched it, both submerged and from the surface. And that pretty much spells the doom to the warfare, not only naval warfare, but to warfare as we know it. But I was predicting this since basically 2014, 2015, including even earlier, 2013, my article in the U.S. Naval Institute Proceedings magazine. And we are in its completely, totally new world. It's a brave new world. And how it will develop from here, I don't know, but as I already stated, I will try to keep my hand on its pulse and deliver whatever I have in my mind, like today. Sometimes it's just basically, from the cuff, and you just have to say things for people to understand that, boy, we are facing something really big, and probably bigger than the collapse of the Soviet Union, and probably on the order of magnitude. We are looking at the remaking of the whole world, basically. And of course, the result of it will be, of which I wrote for years, marginalization of the Europe. Europe is not that important anymore. It is still important, but I mean, what can you do? You cannot prevent a person who is completely committed to committing a suicide. What are you going to do? Put them in the padded room, put them in the restraining, in some kind of restraints. Well, good luck with that. If the person is mad and no treatment is possible, eventually they will commit suicide, and unless of course they are in the asylum. But who's going to create the asylum for Europe when it is in and of itself is an asylum? It's a psychiatric ward, and policies of the European political class are just incomprehensible. These are not normal people. They are completely detached. In fact, as I would say, there is a fanaticism of the level of Khmer Rouge. And the reason they don't kill, people in mass, well, you know what? Wait for it, If they could, they would. And same happening to us to a degree in the United States, but again, as I said, United States has some lesser pressures on it, and we're gonna discuss it later when I will have the ability to really prepare something systemic and discuss it in length. For now, this is just to give you some taste of what is coming, and it's not coming, it's already here, okay? That's the whole point. You don't have to wait for it anymore. We are in it, and then we're just going to be discussing it, and whatever going to be coming up from events to personalities to ideas. But this is my short of the cuff stream of consciousness for today, and I hope that you will not forget to support me on the Patreon or buy my books. And I'm still learning how to use properly this video editing software that eventually I will be putting up some kind of pictures or whatever, images, maybe some kind of music, and I will try to improve on that matter. So again, don't forget to support me on Patreon, and this is it for today. I talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.